Well, there's an explanation for why the sun exists, and it's all naturalistic and scientific. There's no reason to hypothesize that there's any sort of supernatural creator or force behind it.
Here's a nice little animation of how this is supposed to happen, by the way. The supernova explodes, the shock waves hit the cloud, it compresses it and cools it, and then the nice little stars start to form and everybody lives happily ever after. Now, are supernovas real? Yes, they are. Here's a supernova that happened in this particular galaxy. This here used to be as bright as the other stars in here. Now, how many stars can you make out in here? Basically none, right? Because this thing is too far away. Yet that is visible even though it's actually that. A supernova explosion is an enormous violent event in space. The Crab Nebula is the remnant of a supernova that exploded in the year 1054. Chinese astronomers noticed it. It was visible in the daytime for a number of days. So was this one here, which happened in 1987. You see this little ring structure here. This was the same size as that star there before, and now as you see it's a big shell. But what is a supernova? I've showed you pictures, but I haven't said what it is. Well, a supernova is what happens when a star reaches a certain stage in its fuel burning. This gentleman, actually the Cambridge Encyclopedia of Astronomy says, after many stages of nuclear burning, the star's core becomes unstable and implodes while the outer layers explode. There's a massive output of energy. A supernova often outshines the entire light output of its parent galaxy for a week or more, etc., etc. So a supernova happens when a star runs out of a certain amount of fuel. It burns hydrogen for a while, turns it into helium. When that process can no longer happen, then under certain circumstances you can get one of these violent explosions. But think about this. If we need supernovae to make stars, and supernovae are old stars, that means we need old stars to make new stars. But where did the old stars come from? Well, they came from supernovae too. Well, where did those come from? Does anybody see a problem here? Right? For the children in the audience, there's the classic joke about the chicken and the egg. Which came first? It couldn't be the chicken because you need the egg to make the chicken, but it couldn't be the egg because you need the chicken to make the egg. So, which came first? Of course, as creationists, we know that God created the chicken. So, we don't have to see. Creation clears everything up, doesn't it? It gives us all the answers. Well, why do the evolutionists recognize this problem? The process by which an interstellar cloud is concentrated until it's held together gravitationally is not known. The origin of stars represents one of the most fundamental unsolved problems of contemporary astrophysics. Nobody really understands how star formation proceeds. It's really remarkable. Literally hundreds of ideas on how stars are formed have been advanced in past decades. However, we are still far from any real solution. By the way, this is on page 405 of one of my astrophysics textbooks. You wade through 400 pages of equations and then you get...
Well, there's an explanation for why the sun exists, and it's all naturalistic and scientific. There's no reason to hypothesize that there's any sort of supernatural creator or force behind it.